The real tea about high school. Hey guys, it's Cora. Welcome back to my channel. Back to school is unfortunately upon us. I thought it'd be a really cool idea to ask you guys on my Instagram to ask me some juicy questions about school. If you don't follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is at Cora Josephine with 2 E's. Without further ado, let's get into the questions. The first question is, what was your most embarrassing school moment? Let me tell you, there has been quite a few. I've definitely had lots of moments at school that were not my finest. I think it's hard for me to think of them because I try to like erase them out of my brain. But say maybe one was when I was just like crying in the counselor's office and people kept walking in. That wasn't my finest moment at all. The next question is, are you excited to go back to school? By the way, I love you so much. I love you too. I'm actually not excited at all. Usually in the summer I get excited to go back to school, and this year is a huge exception to that. Last year was really tough for me, not really academically wise, more just like mentally, and that's not to scare everyone away from high school, but definitely was not my finest year. Worst drama you've had? There was something that kind of happened last year that sort of ruined the year for me. To sum it up, I had someone in my life that I met and became very close and attached to. They ended up hurting me a lot, which I don't blame this person for. It's honestly just something that's made me like stronger and made me learn things. And that was just a chapter of my life that is now closed, and we're on to the next. Thank you, next. I'd never really had to cut someone out of my life before last year, and it was definitely really hard, but if I could go back and change anything, I definitely wouldn't. I think that the whole process has definitely shaped me into the person who I am today. As cheesy as it sounds, I swear it's true. I still think a lot about this person, but I do think that they were meant to be in my life and they were meant to move on out of my life. I don't think they were meant to stay. So definitely taught me a lot of things, but yeah, that was sort of a dramatic part of my sophomore year. What is popularity at your school like? When I actually think about this, I can't really think of a group at my school that's like the popular group. To me, popularity isn't really a good thing. Like, I feel like the word popular has like a negative connotation. There's a difference between having a lot of friends and having a lot of people like you than being popular. I feel like the word popular is more associated with like exclusiveness and really clickiness. What have you changed about yourself over these years? I'm going into my junior year, so I've had 2 years of high school so far. Halfway done. Definitely a lot has changed. I'd say probably the main thing that's really changed about me is that I no longer hold myself back and try to like impress everyone who I meet. For example, I used to never really tell people about my YouTube channel because I was not embarrassed, but just didn't really want the word to get around, and it did, and I got bullied. But I just found that I really don't care anymore. I usually tell people about my channel when I meet them because I feel like if they are going to have a problem with it or think it's weird or something, it's better I know before the friendship gets too close. And it's not just my YouTube channel, it's definitely a lot of other things. Like, I just don't really care what people think about me anymore. I'm living my own life, and if someone doesn't appreciate me for who I am, I really just like don't want them in my space, you know? Will you cut your hair for a video again? ... Absolutely not. What have you learned so far in school, socially, mentally, if that makes sense? That definitely makes sense. That's actually a really cool question. I would say the main thing I've learned, which is kind of going along with what I was talking about earlier, is that you cannot please everyone. Not everyone is going to like you, and that is okay. You can't please everyone, and if you try to please everyone, you're only gonna stress yourself out because it's like you're just digging yourself a big hole because you're not gonna please everyone. How to deal with toxic friends? Wow, that's a deep one. Toxic friends should be cut out of your life because they're not worth your time, but obviously it is not that easy. It's not like they're a bad person or like a toxic person, but someone can be toxic to you, which I think is something you need to understand. I think that the best thing honestly to do is to be straight up with someone. Tell them what's going on. If something they're doing is bothering you, I think the first step is telling them, and if they don't change, then you know it's toxic and it wasn't just like a mistake. This isn't juicy, but what classes are you taking? That is a great question. For my English credits, I'm taking public speaking, language usage and grammar, and film studies. I'll be doing choir, AP US history, algebra 2 trig honors, physics, and I feel like that's all. Oh, Spanish 4. Spanish 4, yep. What's a piece of advice you received about high school that turned out to be wrong? I guess people told me that I should be prepared to pull all-nighters and stay up late, which I have not found to be the case ever. I've had some late nights, but I've never had to like pull an all-nighter or anything. I just come home, do my work, and go to sleep. So, worst class you've taken throughout high school? I mean, I guess health class is kind of boring, but like also I had friends in that class. The teacher was super nice. Favorite class? I think my favorite class always is definitely choir. My favorite like academic class, I've always liked math. I didn't really enjoy geometry that much just because I don't feel like I'm very good at that, but I'm more good at like equations and stuff, so like I really liked algebra. Biggest pet peeve about the people in your grade and favorite part about them? I would say my biggest pet peeve is from the beginning of freshman year, everyone in my grade acts like they're better than everyone else, which is so frustrating. The best part is my friends and the nice people. Advice for making new friends you actually like. Oops. When you're first getting introduced to someone, never try to be someone you're not. Which I know is cliche and cheesy, but if you are, then you'll become friends with someone who's expecting you to be something that you aren't. And then the friendship isn't gonna be very fun because you're gonna always feel like you're like putting on a mask in front of them or like having to act a certain way, which is super annoying. How do I make friends at my new school? Just same as my answer before, be yourself. What do you think about the faculty to student relationships? I think that it's really awesome when teachers can like sit down with their students and relate to them like on a more personal level. I don't like it when teachers are like really guarded and closed off because it just seems like they're like a robot then, and you want to actually be able to like talk and have a conversation with them. Thoughts about some colleges not making ACT/SAT scores mandatory for applications? I think that that's awesome. Personally, I think that it's sort of awful that your whole college experience can be based off of one test score. I really hate how that part of the education system works because I know a lot of people who are so smart but like not the best test takers, and I'm really happy that some colleges are steering away from that. What are 5 things you hate and love about your school? 5 things I like: my friends, the music department, that it's open campus lunch, my lacrosse team, and my friends. The worst parts about my school is definitely that there's no parking lot. The bathrooms are disgusting. There's people there that I'd rather not be there. All the stairs. And again, that there's no parking lot. And when you drive to school, that's super annoying. Also, your style is so cute. I'm forever envious. Like, wow, I love you. What? It just made my whole year. I love you more, and I ain't even sorry about it. Thoughts about sex ed and lack thereof in schools? The American education system is very much lacking in sex education, and I think that's super problematic, especially because high schoolers do things, not me per se, but others, and that's okay, but it's the school's responsibility to really be teaching safe ways to have consensual sex. There's also a lack of LGBTQ sex ed in schools, which I think is also awful. Like, there needs to be more of that. Schools gotta keep up with the times is what I'm saying. And for the last question, is Sophie Schrader the coolest person? Absolutely not. I'm just kidding. Thank you for actually getting me to go to the gym. That is all for the questions. I really hope you all have a great transition to back to school. I know it can suck, but I believe in all of you. My DMs are always open, so DM me if you have any more questions and I will answer them. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe down below, and that, my friends, was the real tea about high school.